are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go.
Hello and welcome back to the Knicks Pod. Josh Byrne, Kaya Escoon, Connor Thompson, episode 8. The offseason continues. The offseason rolls on for the New York Knickerbockers. We have a great show for you today, a lot to talk about. USA basketball falling, CBS player rankings coming out. We have a couple gripes to mention with that. Knicks, Emmanuel Quickly, will they get a contract done? We don't know. And some other rumors and talking points to get into towards the end of the episode. But guys, how are you doing? And how are we feeling so far with preseason being about a month away? And this season, the off season's kind of coming to a close. How excited are you guys to get into some real basketball soon?
Thanks, Josh. I'm doing pretty well right now, and I'm very excited for the preseason. Well, not so much the preseason, but the regular. But I'm just excited for basketball to start up again. I really don't care what it is. It's my favorite sport there is. So I'm looking forward to a great Knicks season, and who knows, maybe some rumors, some moves will happen in between them, but you never know with the Knicks. So, but yeah, what about you guys?
Yeah, what's up, Josh? No, I mean, I'm thinking that hopefully this next month will go quick. It's actually less than a month now, which is crazy, but it's coming soon, so I'm super excited. I mean, obviously we're going to be tuned in for the preseason, but you know, like Connor said, the excitement's mainly for the regular season, of course, and we're gonna see how we start off the year with like that tough matchup with those tough matchups we talked about last episode. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, dude, I cannot wait. The NBA season cannot get here soon enough because right now is probably the deadest time. We've talked about this the past couple episodes, but you're just like, you're grasping at straws trying to think of things to talk about because really not much has happened. But we do have some basketball to talk about, and that starts with the USA FIBA team losing. And guys, I don't know about you, but I was extremely disappointed. Obviously, not as disappointed as I would be had the Knicks gone out in this kind of fashion, but it really says a lot for how far international basketball has come. What were your expectations like going into this? Did you guys like feel confident that the USA was going to pull this out, or were you like as disappointed as I was that they got eliminated and as soon as they did, honestly?
Honestly, I wasn't so disappointed that they lost. I mean, it's only the FIBA World Cup. I guess that is a big thing, but I'm more excited for the Olympics next summer, and LeBron is trying to recruit that super team, so that should be interesting. But honestly, yeah, I definitely was confident that we were going to win the whole thing. I mean, I know we lost earlier to, who was it, Serbia? I think it was.
Yeah.
So I saw we already had our weaknesses with the rebounding, but I mean, it's America. I thought we had the best ball players, and I thought we were going to win. Fuck, what's that guy, Noah Lyles? Dude, I bet he's happy as hell, though.
Yeah,
he's happy we lost.
No, he definitely is. He is. I was gonna say that if you didn't bring it up. No, it's so embarrassing. I mean, you kind of just expect Team USA to win these things because, like, you know, everybody talks about how we have the best basketball team. So, yeah, a little embarrassing, but you know, like Connor said, next year we got the Olympics and all the superstars are going to come out for that, and we're going to defend ourselves better next time. Yeah, we're going to hopefully win the whole thing, but. Nah, it's just like a little sad to see them lose. I think we didn't even get third, right?
No, we didn't even win in the third place.
Yeah, we got fourth. So I mean, we didn't even place in the top 3, which sucks. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's still good that those guys were able to practice and get some good runs in. And you know, NBA season starts in less than a month, so we can just have it go quick and get to some NBA basketball.
Yeah, man, I guess I just really wanted to see Brunson go out there leading the team because everybody came into that and they're like, man, this team is kind of ass. Like, who's really the real superstar? And I'm like, hey, put some respect on Brunson's name. And unfortunately, like, it's not like he didn't play well, but he just didn't make enough of an impact to help them overcome their deficiencies. And he's obviously not gonna, like, you know, really impact the game with his rebounding, which is where they really struggled with. But I know one guy who can, and next year in the Paris Olympics, the attention has totally turned to that and LeBron James, you know, really compiling this superstar dream roster, really the roster that people wanted to see in this FIBA tournament. Well, you're going to see that next year. You're going to see most likely the highest of high-paying superstars, box office talent that the NBA has to offer, and they're going to represent the U.S. I mean, I don't know every player on that roster, but you got to think, obviously LeBron's there. You'd think Kevin Durant would probably be there. You're going to have the top players, but interestingly enough, one of those depth pieces and one of those possible options for rebounding, for rim protection, has been Mitchell Robinson. He's been rumored to be on this Olympics team next year. So what are your thoughts on that? And, what are your expectations for the Olympics team, how that's going to compare to what we saw in FIBA this year?
I mean, I hope Mitch makes the roster because think about it. I see why they want to get someone like Mitch first off because, like we said in the FIBA, they got dominated on the boards. I mean, the leading rebounder on the team was our boy Josh Hart. I mean, give it up to Josh, but come on, he's like what 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
He's not supposed to be doing that.
Definitely not.
That's something Grizzlies fans need to be worried about, Jaren Jackson. But forget that. I mean, I definitely see bringing in Mitch. That would be a great piece. I mean, obviously he's not going to start. Probably won't get that much run, but hell, he could block shots. He could get you rebounds. I'm trying to think of American centers I'd rather have over
Anthony Davis.
Well, yeah, but Anthony Davis is going to be heard he's going to be on the team. He'll be the starting center.
Yeah.
So
other than that, you're saying maybe Bam Adebayo.
Yeah,
Bam.
Bam Adebayo is definitely an option. I mean, essentially, it's going to be the team everybody's wanted to see. You saw back in 2008 that iconic team: Dwight Howard, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, I think was also there. Every superstar you could think of. And in recent years, it hasn't exactly been that way, whether it be the Olympics or FIBA. But I think next year, all signs are pointing to this dream team that the fans have been craving. But that doesn't mean that every player on the team from top to bottom is going to be a superstar. Mitchell Robinson would not fit in that criteria, man. But hey, if he makes the team, I think it would be exciting for sure. And low key, I think he would have a pretty pivotal role coming off the bench. You'd see him playing and making an impact for them. And if Anthony Davis is there, obviously he's well above where Mitchell Robinson is. That's not even a conversation worth having. But you worry about his durability, and that's where Mitch comes in. Mitch gives him a breather, and he's just balling out on the rim. He's getting boards. He's playing defense and whatnot. But hey, you got to get that Knicks representation in there, and I think that would be great to see because how often do we get to see Knicks players in the Olympics? I guess it's Melo if you recall that, but it doesn't happen all the time, and certainly that Paris Olympics, I think it's going to be must-watch TV. If you're a basketball fan, man, I can't wait for that. Almost as excited for that as this upcoming season. But speaking of which, Knicks representation this upcoming season. CBS player rankings came out. I don't know how much you value those, but since we don't have much to pick from, these are the kind of things that you react to, right? And look, the Knicks clearly have no frontline superstars, top 10 players on their team, but they did have 4 guys ranked in the top 100. 4 guys. IQ at 88, RJ 86, Julius 59th, and then Jalen Brunson coming in at 27. Are there any surprises there, guys? And do you think that Josh Hart, got snubbed there with not even being on the list?
Means maybe Julius being a little 59, because he was ranked 59, and I saw Paulo was ranked 51, and I mean that's a little tough. But when you're looking at it for next season, I could definitely see that. But I don't know. I feel like Julius Randle is just not the 59th best player in basketball. I feel like he's at least got to be top 40. I mean, he's been All NBA. He's made the NBA All-Star team. I mean, I feel like people are discrediting him a little bit. And then Jalen Brunson, I think that's fine ranking at 27. I think, yeah. But the only real surprise is Julius. I feel like that's a little low. But
yeah, I think Josh Hart definitely should have been on the list. That was shocking to see that he wasn't even maybe from 100 to 90 somewhere. I feel like they could have squeezed them in, but whatever. Yeah, I didn't agree with that. I definitely agree with Connor thinking Julius should have been higher. And then it was nice to see IQ on there at all. He's starting to get a little more respect. I mean, his first couple of years, he was a little inconsistent, and then this year got better with his shooting percentages, which was nice to see. And then, the playoffs weren't as good, but, we're still cutting him some slack because he's young. But yeah, I was super happy to see Brunson where he was. I mean, top 30 in the NBA, I would totally agree with that. And I think he was in a good spot. So, I mean, especially after the contract that the Knicks got him on, everybody last year was saying that contract sucked and it was too much money, yada, yada. But you're seeing all the contracts this year and you're like, well, that was an excellent, excellent deal that we got for him. So yeah, super happy with where Jalen's at. And yeah, I mean, I don't consider this list like the end all be all, CBS Sports is whatever, but it's cool to see where, people are ranking people and checking the lists. And, I mean, definitely people are going to get proved wrong this upcoming season. I mean, so many different things can happen. So yeah, we'll see what actually happens, but it was a pretty good list, I thought.
Yeah, I think most of it was fair. And I think personally, if Josh Hart were to be ranked in the top 100, let's be honest, it would be right about 100, maybe 90th. He's not that elite of an overall player. There's an argument to be made he should have been on the list. I'm not going to take personal offense to it. I mean, when's the last time on a list like this that the Knicks had 4 players? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that ever – these lists, I'm assuming they come out every year. And, going back to 2010, how many times do you think the Knicks have had 4 players on a list like this?
4 times, 0.
Yeah.
Probably 0. Yeah. It was probably Carmelo all those years, and he was probably the lone freaking wolf, and yeah, it's so I think we've come a long way. It shows that there's legitimate talent on this team. RJ and IQ can move up if they, continue to get better and better, or they can move down. The one thing I thought was interesting, and Connor, you pointed it out, is Julius Randle at 59. And, you have Paolo ranked ahead of him, and, he's a great player, of course, but do you think we're at the point where that's justified based on merit, that Julius should be ranked below him? Or do you think this is one of those cases where, again, Julius, and I've talked about it, I feel like he's a little disrespected by the media based on just what we see in the playoffs. And people forget, he's one of the most reliable and productive players in the NBA on a game-by-game basis.
Honestly, I think it's a tough one, because if the rankings are based off last season, I'm taking Julius Randle all day, every day. Because Paulo was he was a rookie. I mean, for a rookie, he was really freaking good. He was almost going to make our team.
He was the rookie of the year?
Yeah, he was rookie of the year. He looked polished. He averaged over 20 points. He was really good.
Yeah.
But if it was based off last year, I'm easily taking Randle. But if it's based off this upcoming season, Randle, I don't know. I feel like Paulo out in Orlando, dude, we have to watch him. He's a baller, and I definitely think he might take a huge leap this season and just surpass Julius Randle and being a top 3 power forward in the NBA. I could definitely see that happening. But, I love Julius Randle, but we just got to see it, because I think this season, Jalen Brunson is going to take over more than Julius Randle.
Yeah,
and I think
agree.
The stats might start to show it. Not saying Julius won't do well, but his stats might go down just a bit, maybe 23 points a game. But I honestly think it's going to be a fun matchup if those two go together. Paulo versus Randle. Got to lock it in.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Paolo, he's got an incredibly high ceiling, but you look at his stats last year, man, he shot 427 field goal percentage-wise, 20 points per game. There's no argument to be made that he was a better player than Julius last year. Yeah. You could argue, and you're probably right if you do, that he has a higher ceiling, but if you're going to rank players, I just don't understand why he's automatically the better player. It's just, to me, it's objectively wrong. And, it is what it is, but it goes to show, again, Julius, despite the fact that he's made multiple All-Star games, that he's made multiple All-NBA teams, he still has a ton to prove this year. He has a ton to prove. So, this is, hopefully for him, he looks at a list like this and he's like, damn, I got freaking screwed. Probably not. There's probably no chance he's looking at this. But if he is, it's added motivation, and I'm sure he already has plenty of it. So, it is what it is, man. I mean, you got Brunson at 27, Drew at 25. Another interesting, ranking there. But you can look at these lists all day. They got to go out and prove it. And at the end of this season, I'm sure a list like this is going to look a lot different one way or the other. But one player who's on that list, Emmanuel Quickly, after this season and the one after that, he's going to be due to get his bag. He's going to be due to get paid. And he's definitely made huge strides the past couple of years. So this is going to be a very interesting negotiation period. There are rumors out there that he's looking to receive a very similar contract to what Jalen Brunson got, which, in case you don't know, is 4 years, $104 million. So how do you guys see this playing out, and do you think Quickly is worth that kind of contract?
Man, I love Emmanuel Quickly. I mean, it's a lot of money and like a similar contract compared to the starting point guard for, the backup point guard. I mean, I feel like he shouldn't really get as much, but I definitely want him to be here still. So I have a feeling that the Knicks are going to pay him something similar to that. I don't know if it's exactly going to be what he wants, but I think it'll probably be in that range, and I'll be happy if he stays because I like IQ, and he's a good defender, and when he gets his floater going and when he gets his shot going, he can be really, really helpful for us. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't really want the same exact contract as Brunson, just because Brunson, I would think, whenever his contract was to end, he's going to get even more. But yeah, I mean that's kind of how I'm thinking about it now. I mean, I hope that they come to some sort of agreement, and yeah.
I also think they agree to some terms here. I mean, 104 with today's day might not be that bad, and hell, by next summer cap could go up even more.
Yeah.
And I think it is actually. I think it's
it definitely will.
But so honestly, we got to keep Emmanuel Quickly. I really want to. I feel like he's a big piece. What I'm a little worried about is him wanting a new role, because think about it, he's not even a starter on this team. So maybe he's going to want to go somewhere, like even if it's the worst team in the league, to start, prove himself, and get the bag. And I think the thing with him is he's going to be a restricted free agent, right? I think so. And so we have, because he's young enough, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll have any chance to sign or match whatever offer a team throws at him. So it's going to be down to us if we want to pay him the money and if we think he's worth it. Or not down to us, but down to the front office, of course.
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, I hope the Knicks keep him. I think he's a big part of our team. But yeah, if he wants Jalen Brunson money or more than that, who knows? Next time I have to let him walk. But man, let's see what happens.
Yeah, to me, honestly, I don't think there's any need to get this done right now. Because as much as we all love Emmanuel Quickly, he still has a lot to prove too. You look at his first 2 seasons, he had his moments, but he was extremely inconsistent. If you're getting that kind of player this upcoming season, which I don't expect, but I mean, let's be honest, it's certainly possible. You saw in the playoffs, he was invisible out there, and he's certainly capable of going through his pitfalls. If he doesn't replicate what he did last year or more, then I don't see how you could justify that. And, Connor, you made an interesting point there, because he's always been a depth piece on this team. The only time when there was a sliver of hope that Quickly was going to actually be the guy at point guard was really when he was drafted, and we had freaking Elfrid Payton starting at point guard, and the Knicks fans hated Payton so much that they saw Emmanuel quickly balling out in the preseason. They're like, this is our guy. They were clamoring for him, and ever since then, Payton started the whole season. They made the playoffs. Then they go out. They get Kemba Walker, but Quickly never really. Yeah, it's really great history of point guards here. Quickly never really cemented himself as the guy during those first 2 years. I'm not saying that he should have been expected to. The guy's a second-round pick.
Yeah.
But last year, he never had a chance to be the guy. I don't think, based on everything he said and the fact that he seems to really enjoy being here, that he would, try to take himself out of the equation here in New York simply because he wants to be the starter somewhere else. It's going to take a lot for him to get to the point where he's going to be viewed as like a legitimate starting point guard for that kind of money. You can justify that kind of money as like a sixth man because you mentioned the cap space, the NBA the salaries are just ridiculous. But I just don't think a team is going to give him a contract like that to be the starter unless it's just a team with a ton of money to spend that has a terrible roster. And that's no disrespect to Quickly. It's just I don't view him as that yet, and I still think he has a lot to prove to warrant the need of doing that. Do I think he's going to, execute, follow through, and get that contract? If I had to guess, I would say yes, but I don't think right now he's like priority number one.
Honestly, no need to worry about it right now. It's going to be a distraction for the season. It'd be best if Quickly just would be like, yeah, guys, let's get it done in the off season. And I agree, he's got to prove him. So, give him another playoffs. Because if he balls out in the playoffs, here, bro, take the money. I'll give it all to you. But
I was just about to say that.
First, yeah.
I think, it just makes sense for another season to pass so that he can prove himself. Because at this point, we need to see another year of improvement. I mean, he improved from 2 years ago to last year, but he's still not really shooting amazing by any means. So Jalen Brunson's almost a 50% field goal shooter, and he's getting 104, and Emmanuel Quickly is a little far from that right now to be asking for that kind of money, I think. So I don't know exactly how true it is that maybe his agent did reach out to the Knicks and ask for that number, maybe they didn't, but regardless, I think we need to see another year of improvement from IQ before we just quickly sign him from a longer contract. Because if he doesn't have a good regular season next year or a good playoff run, hoping we make the playoffs, I'm not looking to really sign him back, honestly. It's he's great, but yeah, exactly. His price would have to go down, or we would maybe have to look elsewhere for somebody. But I'm not rushing to be oh my God, we got to get this guy back. We got to see improvement, but he has shown signs of it, so I'm hoping he stays.
No doubt about it. And I think the Brunson thing, it's interesting, but at the end of the day, if he plays well, I don't think that should really be considered as we're paying Brunson this and he's the best player on the team, so we can't play his backup more because Brunson's underpaid, vastly underpaid. He's going to be viewed as even more underpaid a year from now. So it's just if Quickly actually performs at or above the level he did last year, which is on the cusp of being the sixth man of the year, then $20+ million will be justified. But like you guys said, he's far from a sure thing in my eyes. This is a huge year for him as well, and he's going to be a huge part of the team, so he'll have plenty of opportunities, even though he's not starting to make a huge impact on the Knicks. So speaking of another guard out there, the Spurs waived Cameron Payne earlier in the offseason, and apparently, according to Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype, there was a 3-team trade that was explored between the Knicks, the Suns, and the Pacers. Apparently, in that deal, Cameron Payne would have come to New York, TJ McConnell would have gone to Phoenix, and Evan Fournier and draft compensation would have gone to the Pacers. So, honestly, with reports like that, who the hell knows if that report's true? It was interesting to see that there was a hypothetical where Fournier was actually, agreed to go somewhere else. But is Cameron Payne a legitimate option to you guys as someone who could actually come in here?
He definitely can. I mean, he's a good player. I'm trying to think of who our backup point guard really is besides, you got Emmanuel Quickly, but he's more of a combo guard. He could definitely play, but if we don't get him, I'm not going to be upset about it at all. But I would definitely take Cameron Payne because he can get buckets here and there. And I don't know if you guys saw those dance moves with Russell Westbrook back in the day.
Oh yeah,
but he's probably a good locker room guy. He probably has good spirits to have. But,
I remember that.
But I don't really care too much about the Cameron Payne noise. It doesn't need to happen.
Where does he fit though on the team if he were to come here?
Wait, what do you say?
Where does he fit on the team? How is he going to get playing time? Who is he going to replace?
Well, Brunson. He would just have to come in for Brunson as the backup. But
then what about Quickly?
Well, Well, quickly could play the 2 next to him.
Yeah, he could
Like-
especially if it's like with the second unit and stuff. I think quickly can definitely go to the 2.
But
And
then
like,
Grimes and Dante, it does get hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does get because
Yeah, that's
last year they didn't have a lot of different players in the mix. They had a 9-man rotation. That's what worked best for them.
Well,
It just
rid of Evan Fournier, then I'm gonna do it.
I know at this point, yeah, I think Evan Fournier. It's better to have somebody a little bit more reliable defense. I think Cameron Payne's definitely a better defender than Evan Fournier.
He's like a true point guard.
And yeah, he's
Yeah.
also like I've definitely seen him have some pretty good games. Like he can definitely catch fire with his 3, and like I would prefer. And he's probably younger than Evan Fournier too. I mean, like if we could somehow get rid of a guy who's not really in the lineup at all for somebody that potentially could be. I mean, that's obvious. Yeah. So I think we'll see what happens with that. But if it didn't happen, like Connor said, it wouldn't be the biggest deal either.
no doubt about it. That would just be a complimentary piece. Maybe it's a piece that you see moved at the deadline. We'll see, because you never know with injuries and stuff. And that's the other thing. Like, this is a really talented Knicks roster, but that's the kind of move where if they go with the 9-man rotation again, which like you'd expect they would, if Quentin Grimes or God forbid like Josh Hart had an injury, then the odds of them making a move for Cameron Payne would definitely go up exponentially. But right now I don't really see it as likely. But just as you guys said, he could definitely fit in here and be a rotational piece. So now that we got that out of the way, Miles Turner, he had some pretty interesting remarks to say on the Run Your Race pod with Theo Pinson, and he said that the Knicks are America's team. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Or are the Knicks America's team? Because personally, like, I'm gonna have to say no. As much as I want to say yes, like,
I don't know what that
I just can't say. If we had more success, we probably would be. But
I was about to. So the way I kind of thought about what he said was like, I think about the Cowboys and I think about how people call that team America's team for the NFL.
Yeah.
So I kind of think, but then I'm like, well, I'm a Giants fan and I hate the Cowboys. We just got blown out by 40. But no, that's a different topic. But
Aaron Rodgers.
I just, I think
screw you.
I think about the Cowboys, and how they're America's team, and I'm like, okay, well, they've actually had success like in the past. The Knicks, I mean, I guess they've won like 2 chips. They're not really like that though when it comes to like success.
Yeah.
As like on that level, but I mean, it's kind of funny. I don't know. I don't really want the Knicks to be considered America's team only because I feel like it kind of is just like, it's just like, they're America's team. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's a good look, honestly. I think it's more of a bad look than it is a good. I don't know why. Like, you would think it's positive.
I see what you're saying, because America's team also means America's most hated team. We all know, like, whether it's like politics, sports, whatever, the more attention you get, the more hate you get.
Yeah,
and the Cowboys, like, you hate them. You hate them because you're a Giants fan.
Yeah.
But like a fan of every other team that's not in the Cowboys division also hates the Cowboys because they're on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Every week it almost seems like, they're talked about all the time. And with the Knicks, in that way, I can kind of see the parallels, because the Knicks for most of our lives have been terrible, but always get tons of airtime.
Yeah.
Stephen A's talking about them every day, whether they're, winning 48 games or winning, 15 games. But to me, I don't think we're America's team, because unlike the Cowboys, we're really just New York's team. New York is such a enormous city and has such a huge foothold on the media identity of the United States. That's the reason why the Knicks are so popular in like pop culture or whatever, and are such an iconic team. The Cowboys, they actually had a stretch of success in the 1990s, where back then, television was a lot different. Everybody could watch the Cowboys. You wouldn't necessarily see every team in the NFL, but you'd always see the Cowboys. And because of that, during that time, a lot of people from all over the country became Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
Even though the Knicks are on a lot, you can also see all these other teams like the Lakers, the Celtics, who are actually good. And while there's Knicks fans everywhere, that's just because they're from New York. I don't think they're actually just people in Texas or Montana or whatever just being like, oh, I like the Knicks because they're cool. Yeah. It's just because you're from New York. There's no other reason to root for the Knicks. What has this organization ever done? Like,
Exactly.
No one's ever been attracted to the Knicks other than the fact that they're New York's team.
Yeah, we don't even have that many fans outside of New York.
No.
Like, who really rocks with us?
Because not we, I'm not part of the team, but the Knicks have given nobody a reason to be a fan. Like there's the Lakers have. I mean, the Lakers have won championships. The Celtics are always good, even though it's been a while since their last ring. Even the Heat, you see tons of Heat fans that aren't from Miami. I mean, I hate to say it, the Heat, if we're going to talk about which is America's team, the Heat, the Lakers, the Celtics, even the Bulls, they're more of America's team than the Knicks are because they've actually drawn interest from people who have no affiliation with the base city, the base market that they're from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Knicks have tons of fans. They're the most, if I'm correct, I might not be. I think they're the most valuable team in the NBA. If they're not number one, they're number two. And that's solely because they're from New York. And they're really, like, I know there's the Nets, but the Knicks have been based and rooted in New York for a century, and the Nets just moved here a decade ago and have really done nothing to claim any fans since then.
Yeah.
So, look, maybe if the Knicks go on this little run with Brunson and we actually get some winning, then maybe we can be America's team, man. Because they'll see the Knicks fans will be going crazy. People are going to want to hop on that bandwagon. Like, we all know how freaking crazy it would look like if the Knicks actually won something. It would be us beating the Celtics on opening night times 1,000. And people would want to jump on that train, man. There's no doubt in my mind. But right now, man, I can't agree with my boy Miles Turner. Not America's team. Not yet.
One day. Yeah.
One day maybe. Another former NBA player, this guy, a former Knick, Tyson Chandler. I gotta say, man, he made some clown comments. But I gotta tell you like it is. Tyson Chandler apparently said that if the 2012-13 Knicks team hadn't lost to the Pacers in the Eastern Conference semis, he thinks they would have gone on and defeated the Heat that year, who I think that was the year they won their second in a row.
Yeah.
He says the Knicks would have beaten them. So I got no comment. What do you guys think? Do you think the Knicks would have beaten the Heat that year?
No, definitely not. I mean, come on. They got LeBron, and LeBron on the Heat's low key like the best LeBron there is.
Yeah.
So
yeah, without question.
I don't think we were gonna. I mean, they still had D-Wade too and Chris Bosh. I mean,
it was a super team.
Yeah, they were stacked. There was no way we would beat them.
I think he only says that because the Pacers took the Heat to 7 games that year. Because that was the year Paul George was going stupid.
Yeah,
Paul George, Roy Hibbert. That was just a very gritty team.
Yeah, on
Birdman. Yeah.
That dunk's wild.
Yeah, no. The Knicks would have lost in 5. To be honest, they would have been lucky
6
to win.
maybe.
Yeah.
The Knicks, they would have been lucky to get 2 games.
Yeah. That's it.
I love that Knicks team. It'll always have a special place in my heart. But you look back on it, man, they really weren't that good. They won 54 games that year. They won they so vastly overachieved. You talk about 2021 and how that team overachieved.
Yeah.
You had a freaking 40-year-old Jason Kidd, Raymond Felton.
Yeah.
Steve Novak was actually playing minutes.
Yeah.
J.R. Smith, he was 6th man of the year.
Yeah.
J.R. Smith was balling out. Dude, that team, it wasn't in some ways it was a fluke. It wasn't a complete fluke. They had talent, but they had no business winning that many games. And Tyson Chandler just got freaking bodied by Roy Hibbert. He should really shut his mouth because he's saying this now because it's been so long. We all forget how that series went. He is one of the main culprits for why. Because coming into that postseason run, everybody expected the Knicks to beat that Pacers team. The expectation universally was the Knicks were going to lose in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Heat. And we were all okay with it. We all knew they were going to lose to the Heat. But we were just hey, this is going to be great. We're going to see some playoff wins. And they barely got by the Celtics. And then they lost in 6 to the Pacers. So typical Knicks disappointment. Even in the year where they win the most games in our entire life, they somehow, are underwhelming in the playoffs. But
yeah,
we'll finish on this. NBA 2K24. Emmanuel Quickly was... I don't know if it was a podcast. He was on something. He was being recorded playing the game. He was shooting around as Jalen, RJ, and Randall. So, I don't know how much there is to take away from this, honestly. But do you guys play NBA 2K24? Do you think you're going to buy the game this year? And if so, why? If not, you want to shit on Ronnie 2K, be my guest.
Fuck Ronnie 2K, first of all. But, nah, I'm just playing. Well, not actually. I do not like it. But I am going to get 2K24 this year because last season I didn't get 2K23 at all. So I took a year off, and I kind of miss it. I'm not going to lie. I kind of want to play. It's a lot of fun, like, getting a squad, playing at the rec,
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun doing that, and I'm excited. I'm going to have to try out this new Knicks team, too. That video looked like Jalen Brunson was a sniper.
Yeah.
It looks like a little quick guard that's just going to be, like, speedboating everywhere, and then bang.
Yeah, I think same like Connor. I also took off last year from 2K, and then the year before that I had it. So I'm kind of itching to get back into 2K, but I've also been seeing reviews that it's like not as good this year, but I'm like, come on, it's the same thing every year. Like, it was cool to see IQ playing with some of the guys on the Knicks because, like Connor said, Jalen looks really good. And then, like, the shooting forms for all the guys look pretty accurate, too. I was like, all right, like, there's going to be the classic, like, 2K glitches, and, like, there's going to be shit where you're just, like, getting upset at the game. But that's, like, every sports game ever made. So, I'm probably going to hope that around, like, Christmas time it goes on sale, and then I'll probably buy it. So it's not like – I think video games now are $70 for the newer next-gen console.
Yeah, they just had to make it that extra 10. That bothers me to no end. It's like $60 was enough money, man.
Yeah.
Anything they should have dropped it down.
Yeah. No, it's too much money. So I'm just gonna hope it goes on sale, and then I'll probably buy it then. But
$30.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the Christmas cop is the move. And also, unlike Madden, like you get Madden at Christmas, the season's pretty much over.
Mm-hmm.
But with 2K, you get it at Christmas. That's still the first half of the season, so you're still more in the mood to play it. And I've also got to say this: like 2K definitely has its cheesy moments, like no doubt. It's got tons of flaws in the game, but you compare it with like any other sports game, and I think it's the best one, like easily. Yeah. Like compared to Madden is just embarrassing. Like, Madden is just awful. That shit hasn't changed since 2010. Like, it's actually still the same. You still see the stupid celebrations. The Super Bowl celebration is the same that it's been. I've started playing Madden 13, and it really hasn't changed that much. But 2K, at least, they try different things. The animations, they're very annoying, but probably going to get 2K24 at Christmas, and they had some accurate shooting animations there, so it looked good.
Yeah.
And
it was. Yeah, he kicks it out.
Yeah, so if the Knicks aren't good this year, at least you can play with them in 2K, and you'll see them succeed and achieve everything you want them to in that game. So that'll just about do it for episode 8 of the Knicks Pod. It's the offseason still. It's still a pretty dead period, but we're getting closer, guys. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. The weather's starting to cool off just a tad, and we're getting there, man. And once the season starts, it's going to be absolutely hype. It should be really fun. So, that's about it. So for Josh Byrne, okay, hold up. Last time we had a horrible experience trying to cap off the episode. What we normally do is I'm Josh Byrne, I'm Kaya Escoon, I'm Connor Thompson, and you've been listening to the Knicks Pod. And it just did not go well. It was an utter train wreck. It was like Kemba Walker's tenure as a Knick. You could even say Evan Fournier or Joakim Noah. I mean, it snapped right off like Aaron Rodgers' Achilles.
Dude, yeah, you did it.
I feel like it's healthy that I'm now making light of the fact that my favorite team in football, their season is ruined, but that's just me. So let's try it again. Hopefully it goes better. So for Josh Byrne, I'm Josh Byrne.
I'm Connor Thompson.
And I'm Kaya Escoon.
And you've been
to the Knicks Pod.
See, that threw me off because I thought Kaya was going first and I was okay.
And honestly, as the captain of the ship, there was a lot of indecisiveness. And at this point, the ship has crashed into...
one last try.
Remember we said 3 point... What was the line at? 3.5?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot what the line was there.
I think it was 3.5.
Yeah.
So.
Let's do it one more time.
So we've gotten 2 more times. So if we get it on this last time, we will get the under.
Yeah.
Okay.
All gotta go. And
All right. Let's get it.
All right. So thank you again, everybody, for watching the Knicks Pod, and that'll just about do it because, at the end of the day, I'm Josh Byrne.
I'm Connor Thompson.
And I'm Kaya Espion.
And you've been listening to the Knicks Pod.
We'll end it there. That's good enough.
Yeah, let's go. All right, go Knicks, everybody. Peace.
We are the New York Knicks.